Flyover State of Film was shot in front of a live studio audience.
All right, fun fact, guys. Sumo wrestlers shake babies or make them cry for good luck. So the next time you see a fucking baby, shake the fuck out of him. Maybe 2020 will get better. Welcome back to a Flyover State of Film. As always, Brian, Joe, Jay, and me, Steph. How's it going, guys?
I cannot advocate the baby shaking policy of Flyover State of Film.
Baby.
Cheers, shake them. Shake them babies.
Throw in the pool. I'm learn how to swim pretty early.
Babies.
Dude, that clip is
Baby.
wild. That toss.
Oh, the baby being thrown in the water, and then the lady's like,
He just casually gets in, like, I'm cool.
fucking hell. So it's been a while since
I was just thinking I cannot hear somebody say the phrase "it's been a while" without thinking about that fucking song too. I'm so glad it's not just me.
Yeah, he fucking.
God forbid somebody says it's been 1 week. That gets me out. That'll get me going.
Brian, we just did the American Pie episode. You are not allowed to reference that. Chinese chicken.
So it's been a minute. It's been a minute since we've actually had some fucking actual movie news. I don't know if you guys
opened it back up because coronavirus is cured by not caring about coronavirus anymore. Turns out.
Yeah, I mean, it worked out. The strategy of like ignoring it and it will go away. It worked. That was a cure. It's kind of like a T-Rex. Like you just stay still.
Stay still. Don't let it see you. Don't let Corona see you.
Guys, if you just go to a restaurant and, it doesn't matter because we waited it out long enough where you should be inside with people again.
Yeah, and I mean, if you go to like a public event, like say I took my family to the zoo and we wore masks, I would put mask usage at about less than 20%. The staff was wearing masks, but I was like, and they're doing like, structured, like how many people they're letting in an hour and so on and so forth. But like, it was getting packed and people were like sardining in front of things. And it's like little signs that say, hey, don't forget to give some space. Ain't going to cut it, man. People don't like, it's not going to fly.
People are fucking crazy. Did you see the video of the guy that got into a fight because the Walmart guy told him to wear a mask?
Yeah.
White people.
He's lucky that big dude didn't body him. That old man got real lucky.
Yes.
That video could have been a whole different thing. Like that guy was taking it real easy on that dude.
That guy was thinking like, I gotta keep my minimum wage. I'm just keeping my minimum wage. I can't lose my minimum wage, but I want to really knock the fuck out of this old dude.
Imagine eating $6 flannels and $5 DVDs that bad that you want to fight your way into a Walmart.
Sorry, but I'm like 110% sure.
I saw a small grainy video on Twitter, so whatever the person was, they could have handled that old man easily.
I'm more than sure that old man is gonna be first in line when they reopen the theaters and they play The Greatest Showman and fucking Bloodshot and the Unforgiven. So for some fucking reason, What are your guys' thoughts on the theaters taking the recycled bin of Disney content?
Does this
Why?
hurt Disney Plus?
No, it's gonna be Disney content. It's gonna be on in theaters now for 4 weeks.
But everything
Like,
you can
I
get
told
there,
Joe,
you get on
I
Disney
mean,
Plus.
there is a certain aspect of like, if you've never seen Return of the Jedi in the theater, you're a young kid who loves Star Wars, and you never had a chance to see Return of the Jedi in the theater, and it's coming to
wanna
the
die.
theater. Like, I don't know. I would go to a seating where they required masks and they had social distancing. I don't know. I might go to that if
Sure.
it was something that I really wanted. I'm not saying I would do it, but I'm saying I could see myself getting to a place if
Sir.
the right movie was in the theater.
Sir, I do think we have to say a difference of like the mass amounts of drive-ins there are because they're doing those showings, like how Jurassic Park was #1 this weekend because of drive-ins. Like my hometown is doing those old movies as a drive-in, and they're sold out, and I think that's awesome. It's how our local theaters being staying afloat. My problem is it's the like epitome of like the capitalistic like version of like we just want to make money. So here's shit you could get but re-risk your life for a little bit of nostalgia. Like I feel like it's not the same as going to see, Return of the Jedi in a Fathom Events special where things are normal and it's a Tuesday and it's $7.50 to go see that movie even at an AMC. That's where I was coming from. I mean, like I just think it's reckless.
How long does the virus live in one of those fucking seats?
6
probably
hours on
forever.
surfaces, I thought.
I tweeted out the scene from Outbreak. I can never stop thinking about it. It's
Yeah.
like one of the main scenes. The dude coming out of the theater and he's hacking and coughing on all the people that are standing
they
in
do that
line.
thing.
And then you see the little flecks of his spit fly through the air and go up into the vents and get spread all over. And that's I mean, I know I'm playing devil's advocate here, but like I said,
No,
my family hasn't been out without masks. I don't go out without a mask. I work with a mask. I just
No,
Would
also,
you-
these like
Mikey-
special events, or is it like
Oh, is this
'cause
theater?
why wouldn't you why not do Black Widow then and release the movies that you've already had established and like you're supposed
Because
They will.
they're banking on it not being as they're
I think this is
projecting Donald
like
Trump
testing.
numbers.
Yeah, they're like testing the waters. They want to see if they're willing to risk a few lives to see how bad it is.
Yeah.
basically.
Yeah.
This is
And
the
they don't
Donald
want to.
Trump
They don't want to
effect.
like pack the theaters, so they're going to start with movies that'll get butts in the seats, but not full house. You know.
I think people are gonna fucking run out and go see it because there's a lot of idiots out there that want to go do things, and then
Would
they're gonna,
you-
oh great.
I mean,
So-
it's how many cases are going to break out. But would you run to the theater to watch Michael Keaton be Batman again?
Oh.
Any-
Oh,
No, it
look
just
at
depends.
that
It
fucking
depends.
segue.
Depends.
No, I don't.
Boom, boom!
yeah, I would. We go. Yeah, go. You go first, Brian.
All right. Here's the thing. Okay, the way I
Just-
see it, I got.
just- hey, people, go to his Twitter and read the fucking tweets.
Yeah,
TJ,
guys.
what do you think about
I got
this?
I got two ways it could go down. Either they're gonna forget about Jeffrey Dean Morgan and make him the Thomas Wayne Punisher Batman in Flashpoint, which is the thing I would not like to happen. Or they're instead of doing Flashpoint, they're just gonna do more of a like dimensional travel thing, and Flash will end up in a future where we're in like kind of the Batman. He'll like do a cameo in the Batman Beyond future where Michael Keaton's old Batman, and then if Flash movie is successful, maybe then it segues into a Batman Beyond movie.
That'll be cool.
But my thing is, you could just do the Batman Beyond movie. You don't need to tease it. Halloween and Terminator both came out. They said, don't worry about this. Don't worry about continuity. You could come out with a fourth. They've talked about making a fourth Sam Raimi Spider-Man. You could come out with a new Tim Burton Batman movie and be like, this is a direct sequel to Batman Returns, and we're in the Batman Beyond universe now. And it would, even if the movie was total trash fire, it would make money. The first one would make money. You'd have no problem with box office.
I think they're obviously they're worried about how fucking long they've taken to actually do this fucking movie.
Yeah.
And they're using the bait of Batman to reel people back in. But yeah, I agree and probably they don't want to step on Robert Pattinson's dick right now while they haven't released the actual Batman. But yeah, I agree.
I'm pro You're going to bring in Keaton and technically probably a Terry McGinnis. So now we're have
That would be
three
awesome.
Batmans bouncing around.
That would be
I'm just.
No, that would be awesome because I'm
it's
I'm
stupid.
tired of continuity. I'm fucking.
I think it's
fuck
stupid.
you MCU. Fuck you DC. Give me Oddworld stories.
I think
I think
DC
it's
a good way to differentiate themselves would be to do this. I'm fine with that, and that goes with my thing of like you don't have to tie Batman Beyond in. You could just do the Tim Burton Batman Beyond movie and don't worry about Flash. You don't have to like tease it.
Yeah, that would be better, but they're going to, and then I'm gonna have to hear on the internet idiot people like Hector Navarro's be like, okay, cool. What if we bring back the Hulk from Ang Lee's and he's in a flashback? We get cross dimension. You think that that
they're already doing it with Spider-Verse. They're already doing it.
Movies.
Let me give you the bullet points of this Batman. These are all things that was released by Variety. It's an alternate universe where Batman is basically running everything that the Flash runs into. So that's like there's no like Thomas Wayne type of thing. The other thing is he's also signed on to do other roles. He's supposed to be like a Nick Fury character in these DCU movies. He's also replacing Ben Affleck's Batman. So he won't even like once Flash goes back in time, there was no BVS, I'm assuming. And then the other thing is, which kind of hurts the Batman Beyond stuff that I read too, this is all in the Variety article, is that the next Batman that DCEU has like on that Keaton will be like teaching is Batgirl.
I did see a little bit about that.
Yeah,
too.
so it's like more or less that he could show up.
It kind of sucks now because they missed their boat. If they really wanted to use Flashpoint to fix DCU,
they should have done it 2 years ago.
It should have happened a long time ago. And one, they shouldn't be asking Snyder Cut. And two, Wonder Woman and Shazam already happened, and then like they already like those movies, and even Aquaman, which I think it sucks, but they even like that one too.
Well,
so you're trying to rewrite.
Aquaman is incredibly stupid, but
I enjoy it.
It's really something though. Yeah. Like it's something to be seen.
It's the shit floating in the water.
Just make fucking movies and stop digging into your bag of tricks.
I think Marvel should keep doing the continuity thing because I think it's working for them. I think I think that's good, but I don't think everybody needs to keep copying them. And I think with like Joker and Harley Quinn movie and this, you can spread these out, and these can all be their own thing. You know?
Yeah, I agree. Even if you don't like it or hate it, I enjoyed Birds of Prey. It's technically within the Suicide Squad universe, but they ignored Joker, which was another hit. I didn't like it that much, but
next you're gonna tell me we're bringing back Ryan Reynolds' Green Lantern because some people like it.
Well, actually, Joe. Joe. Funny thing you said that. I also think that Keaton will be great to see in the suit again if he gets in the suit, and also Andy Muschietti.
He's gonna get in the suit.
He's going to get.
Can I say one more thing? It sounds a little bit the whole idea that like Flash goes to a world where Batman's kind of running things. A Little Kingdom Come. You know the bat. If anybody's familiar with that story, you had like an older Batman who's got like an army of bat bots basically, and Gotham is like under his control. You know, kind of.
Well, it's funny thing you mentioned.
I shitted on Brian about his tweets, but he did have a good tweet. Every now and again, he has a good tweet, and that is they're taking again good stories that they could have been like a whole movie just for a snippet for a moment and
cannibalize is the term I used.
Well, Joe, it's funny you said the Ryan Reynolds stuff. Have you guys heard the news?
What, they're bringing back Jonah Hex?
No, supposedly the new rumor is that's making its rounds actually through like some
Pikachu Detective 2.
Yeah. They're doing Zack Snyder supposedly had a cameo built in for BVS as Ryan Reynolds as the Green Lantern, and now they're working out a deal to bring him back for reshoots and also more appearances in the DCEU. I'm assuming that's what the big.
No, wait, not BVS, Justice League, right? He's going to be in Justice League.
As Deadpool?
Well, also now they're talking about Martian Manhunter is going to be in it too. Who the hell isn't going to be in this now?
Is that the rumor?
Yeah, because the movie wasn't bloated enough. Now,
guys,
add more fucking shit to it.
No, stop. Take all your money to Vegas and put it on Jonah Hex appearing in it too. So apparently, we're just going balls. You know what? What's Shaq doing?
Okay.
What's Shaq doing? We'll put Steel back into the DC.
Let's see. Let me be fair. Let me get up on the bad side again and to play devil's advocate. At least with the Snyder Cut, there are actually people asking for it. Nobody is asking to see Ryan Reynolds Green Lantern again. Even people who it's not like people are like reevaluating Ryan Reynolds Green Lantern. Like, yes, actually, that's good now. No, that's a fucking garbage movie. It was never good. It's got some interesting visuals. It's cool to see Oa and stuff, but like, it sucks. It's just not good. Like, I was a Defender for a long time, and I rewatched. I was like, oh man, that's a shame. That's a bummer. And you can't. It's just not good, and nobody's clamoring for it. I don't even
kill myself.
It seems like a legitimate fuck you, like to fans.
It's so stupid.
It's just one of those things. It's like now DC is just like, if we can do it, let's just do it and throw it in there. It's like,
I mean,
and also, have anybody learned from Quibi? Like, where are you going to sink all this money into shit for streaming services? You need to keep that shit light.
Yeah.
But TJ said something interesting, which is like DC is like going balls deep in it, like doing it, whatever. But that's something that they've always done.
Yeah.
The best example is Joel Schumacher's Batman Forever and Batman and Robin, which just went bananas into don't interrupt me, my fucking segue, Joe.
Mr.
This
Segue,
is a good one again.
I think we're also going to add some cameos as newscasters for the DC Daily guys.
But the good thing, the sad thing about my fucking segue being killed to death is that Joel Schumacher died yesterday. Rest in peace, rest in power. And an incredible filmmaker, and Brian has a little bit of a topic for us.
Oh, yeah. Well, I just want to say real quick about Joel Schumacher before we start talking about his movies. Like, I was definitely on the hate Joel Schumacher train after his Batman movies came out. I laughed at the joke that they make like a Joel Schumacher joke in Batman the Animated Series, and they have like a little kid with a feather boa. It's funny, but it's also kind of shitty. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like, he was an openly gay man in Hollywood, like for his whole career.
I didn't put two and two together there.
And the way they portray that little kid is all flouncy and stuff, and like it's just not done very.
Joel claims to have fucked 20,000 men. He probably fucked one of those animators and never called him back.
Hell yeah, man! Fucking icon. He was like, I bang movie stars and I never kiss and tell, and I was like, that's pimp shit. Good for him.
Oh yeah, he fucked.
Hell yeah.
He had sex. I guarantee it.
Yeah.
Oh, him and Val Kilmer?
I doubt that we're going to pick one of the Batmans, but I'm going to defend both of them at the same time in the sense that at least he captured the comic book feel of them.
Yeah.
Like, it felt like a
camp for sure.
Yeah.
And also, studio mandated. They wanted a different tone than Tim Burton's movie.
Yeah.
The Batman Returns came out and like pissed a lot of people off, and they couldn't sell their fucking toys, and they were mad. So when they got him off the project, they wanted somebody who was like, I want something colorful, I want it to be fun, I want it to be for kids. And he still managed to make those movies horny as fuck. So good for him, right?
Those butt shots. Come on.
So definitely as a kid, I thought and I actually don't think it's that bad. Batman Forever. It's pretty solid. It's a pretty fun movie. I'm talking like child. Like Batman and Robin, I was like, George Clooney's the best Batman. Like, the guy played you to the death on this. Like, it was fun because I was the age it was supposed to be presented at, and it worked. Like, yeah, growing up and rewatching, I'm like, ooh, this is.
I feel like it's the same argument many people have now that Phantom Menace was for kids.
Yeah,
that's why so many kids grew up loving it.
But again, and I'm not here to defend the Batman movies because I actually do still think they're quite bad. But the man has made good movies, so that's why my topic was, what are the good Joel Schumacher movies? What are your favorite Joel Schumacher movies? And I already know which one TJ is going to take, so let's just let him start. Go for it, baby.
I rewatched this last night. This is easily a top. Oh man, it could. After watching last night, could top 5, man. One of the best vampire movies, if not the best vampire movie, The Lost Boys, guys. It is pure 80s. Introduces the Coreys. It gave us
hanging earrings.
Yeah, Kiefer Sutherland as David is probably one of the scariest, but also coolest fucking characters ever. Even though he's such a
the two-piece combo of him in this and him in Stand By Me are like
yes,
it's so he's like burned. He's like the childhood bully that's burned into my mind.
Diane Weiss has a fucking incredible role as the mom, which she shows up in all these movies as an amazing mom. It's just one of those films that I can watch when I was 6, 14, 25, 33. It just never ever gets old. It hits the same notes every time. The soundtrack alone.
Oh yeah, the soundtrack is fantastic.
Yeah, from the Doors, all that stuff. It's just like it's just the whole look of the film.
And it's also one of those movies that visually stays with you. I cannot eat
Chinese
ramen noodles
yeah.
without thinking of that scene. Like it's one of those moments that like stayed with me forever. Like, what are you eating, David? It's David, right? Or am I mentioning?
Yeah, David. Yeah, the and then like the whole Michael. It's like this the simplicity of the vampires too, and Buffy the TV series took from this is just exaggerated brows and fangs and eye contacts, like nothing crazy, no crazy transformations. The bonfire scene alone could be probably one of my favorite scenes, top 5 of all time, just with the Aerosmith in the background, knowing the type of guys they probably were before they were vampires, attacking the type of guys that are at the bonfire, listen to Aerosmith. You get all that, and then Michael sitting there wanting to feed but couldn't, and just and that shot of them coming over the hill after his blood running down. Man, that film.
I always liked the first murder.
Oh yeah,
I think it's the guy from Bill and Ted, right? That's the first vampire to get killed.
Yeah, Alex Winter. Yeah, Marco.
I always liked how the darkness contrasted with like the flash of bright red blood coming out of him. It's very good. It's a very well made movie.
And it's hilarious too. It's got like a lot of like comedic tones to it. So, and the grandfather is probably one of my favorite parts. So, Lost Boys, man, always will go down as one of my favorites. What you got? Who's next?
What you, Joe?
I'll go. But before I say, I kind of like. So I got to revisit The Lost Boys. I only watched it once, like in middle school, so I do got to read. I don't remember shit of it. I actually kind of thought it was shitty how every headline was like Batman director dies, like his least like the movie he like apologized for.
One of his more infamous. You know, they always pick the most infamous movie.
So anyway, it was the first thing that stood out to me.
The big headline grabber, you know.
Yeah. So I actually last night watched 2 of his movies.
I saw this.
I revisited 8mm was actually his movie coming off of Batman and Robin, which is like really fucking dark and dirty.
Yeah, it's like it's like a dirty sex crime movie.
Yeah, it's about Nick Cage as a PI, detective PI, like investigating a snuff film, and it stars like a sex club worker, Joaquin Phoenix helping him.
That's insane.
Joaquin Phoenix is in that movie?
That's what I did when he said. I saw his tweet last night, and I was like, I don't remember Phoenix at all. I got to go back.
James Gandolfini, probably a year before The Sopranos, being an even like dirtier, like Tony Soprano character, playing the porn guy. It's a really good like thriller. I mean, there's moments in it where I laugh because I'm like, this is a little stupid, but it's a solid like 2-hour crime thriller that is like it's a dirty movie, you know.
I remember watching it as a kid and not getting it. I've never watched it again. But it was like
I remember watching it around the time it came out, you know, and being kind of like, oh, I want this to like make me horny, but it's just gross and kind of like makes me feel bad. You know? I was hoping this would be like sexy, but it's like kind of creepy.
There's some pretty cool, I'll leave it at there's some pretty cool kills in it too, like, but and I think at the time too, it was like after Batman and Robin, but Nick Cage was also coming right after like the hits of like Con Air and movies like that. And people were just really disappointed in that. It's not a bad movie.
Didn't this come out around the same time as Snake Eyes? And it's kind of the same vibe.
It's similarly shot, right? It's like Snake Eyes is like, but Snake Eyes is all about in that boxing ring and trying to figure out what's going on. And it's like
we always confuse them.
Visually, they look the same. They're shot with that very like acid washy
I used to
Yeah.
get Snake
Like,
Eyes, 8
Bengals?
millimeter, and Jackal mixed up. Don't ask me why Jackal
Ooh,
was
Jackal.
dropped in there, but that was one of those ones I always got mixed up.
Bruce Willis, like that homoerotic tension with Richard Gere.
Oh, I used to get 8 millimeter and the Snoop Dogg movie Bones mixed up. Because they were very they probably were next to each other in the VHS store.
You know what movie we need to put in this group is The General's Daughter. That's another one.
Oh,
It had like
yeah.
that similar sex crime vibe that like 8 millimeter had.
That's
I
John
watched 8
Travolta
millimeter.
and Samuel Jackson, right?
Are you guys take my
Sam
other?
Jackson and General's Daughter?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, you're
He's the
thinking
one
of Basic.
investigating.
I don't.
Oh, Basic. That's the one I'm thinking.
So
about.
before we jump to either of you, because I know you're not going to talk about Phone Booth also.
That's fine.
Oh, okay, I'll save it.
Oh yeah, no, that's fine.
For Yusef to do it.
I know, because I thought you were everybody was gonna pick like the classics. So I was like, all right,
don't worry, I'll round up the classics at the end.
So when you say, I just have a few to say about Phone Booth.
Yeah, go ahead. I mean, let me start.
Let's
It's a super short, fun movie that really impacted me when I was a kid, because I've to that point I've never seen a movie that was so singular, and that like it's just like one location. It's a guy over the phone. It's basically a play. But I rewatched it the other day, and Joel Schumacher really realized that, oh my God, maybe this is a boring movie to the average viewer. And he fucking went bananas with CGI shots, with creative camera zooms, and
this is like him doing David Fincher, like going up and around the phone, right? Like coming in from crazy angles and shit.
Guns in the top.
He went so fucking. He even went within the phone at one moment and jumped all the way to the sniper where. Actually,
I think it's funny, and I don't want this to sound like a dig, but before we go on, I was just thinking about it, and I don't want to lose the thread. Joe was talking about how like 8 millimeter has that vibe of like that kind of washed out, and I feel like Oliver Stone kind of brought that in the late early 90s, and then you have him doing kind of a David Fincher thing with Phone Booth, and I think that speaks to like also the reason he was brought in for Batman. He was just a very solid working director.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? He didn't necessarily maybe have like a vision, like you think of somebody like a Tarantino or somebody with that kind of a body of work, but there's some directors who are just solid at what they do. They come in and they get the fucking job done, you know what I mean? And sometimes they hit, sometimes they don't, but they always like deliver a consistent level of quality.
I feel like, and to his credit, like there's a bunch of working directors, like you mentioned, that have long and quiet careers, but I feel like the only reason why we know his name is because of the Batman fiasco. Right. Otherwise, he would have just been like one of those solid directors that have
his name like movies
because of his string of movies with The Lost Boys.
Well, Brian's right on the style too, because Flatliners is a lot like that too, where like it's picking up of that like 1993, 94 like style of movie, like it has that like hackers.
He's like mimicking styles, but he's not. He's not necessarily innovating anything.
I feel like he's a great chameleon in a sense that if they tell him like we want this genre and this style, he's like, yeah, I can do that. But I'm gonna make it very horny and bisexual.
Yeah, I'm gonna make it super fucking horny though. Yeah. That's the deal.
But about Phone Booth, I remember when I was in theaters, being like 8 of my friends snuck into that R-rated movie.
Was there a crying girl again, Joe, in your story? Because we can't have back-to-back episodes with a girl crying in the theater because of you. Come on, man.
No crying girl. We just snuck in, and I remember us all being like, that movie, because we're like 12 or something. Like, that movie fucking ruled. Like, that was like, because it was like a tight thriller, and we were also like sneaking in. So we were I couldn't believe it.
Your adrenaline was already up and shit. I picture you guys are like the kids in Simpsons. Barton Fink. Barton Fink.
I was thinking of we're still on Joel Schumacher right now, and this goes into what we're talking about later. A character in Lost Boys is a character in the movie we're talking about later. Star.
Oh yeah. Oh, save that little gem.
Brian, but now with you being the oldest, how about you talk about all his greatest hits?
Right. I'll back clean up here. Flatliners was definitely on my list as like iconic. Not necessarily Brat Pack era, a little bit later, but Kiefer and
Yeah.
amazing Oliver Platt performance. Anytime you can get some Platt in there, you gotta love him.
Like
And also,
Kevin
sorry,
Bacon. They tried to remake this a couple years ago. Don't bother. Stop. Why? Don't do
I'm
it.
gonna
Ellen
interrupt you.
Page.
Like him and Joel, Keither and Joel are one of those unsung like duo director.
Yeah,
Yeah.
kind of. Yeah, because
Mhm.
he's in Phone Booth too. I wonder. I didn't really even think about that.
Flatliners
But
and
yeah,
Lost Boys.
Kiefer
Yeah.
Oh,
Sutherland
Jones
is like Joel Schumacher is to Joel Schumacher as Leo is to Scorsese. You know,
It's pretty
You
cool
know
that
what's
you say
interesting
that
about
too.
Phone Booth? They shot it in order. Sorry, TJ. I just
So you're good.
read that. Yeah, I read
no,
that.
that's
I thought
cool,
that
and
was
that's a
really
very interesting thing for a movie because they're almost never
You
shot
normally
in
start
order.
with the end and then go forward or go backwards sometimes.
Yeah, they shot the whole movie in order except for Kiefer's stuff.
I
because
was
he
reading a really cool quote from Rob Lowe, who was like, when he did St. Elmo's Fire, I'm sure
yeah.
it's like one of your classics, that no one thought he could be like the bad guy and stuff like that. And then I just remembered in the Lost Boys, like in Corey Haim's room, there's a picture of Claire from the Breakfast Club on one wall, and then there's a super like just shirtless, just like up against the wall on the other wall of like Corey Haim's room thing. I was like, he loves his fucking like his actors he works with, man, and just gives them like nice nods.
Yeah,
here
give him a little nod. Give him a little.
yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Right, go ahead, Brian.
We got to breeze through because we're taking too long on Joel. We
Yeah.
love him. I wanted to mention two great courtroom thrillers, The Client and A Time to Kill.
Yes.
Yes.
And then you cannot talk about Joel Schumacher without talking about Falling Down,
Thank
which
you.
is one of those classic movies that people misunderstand all the time and are like, it glamorizes the white male privilege and him going off. It's like he's the bad guy. In fact, the whole thing about the movie is that he realizes he's the bad guy by the end. But I don't. Maybe just watch the movie instead of watching YouTube videos about the movie. I don't know. I don't know what else to say.
No, man.
But Falling Down is an amazing movie. Michael Douglas, a great Michael Douglas performance in that. Also, shit, what's his name? Who's more grizzled? Robert Duvall is the cop in that, and he's amazing too.
That's it. That's it.
Yeah, I think that's it. I mean, we can move on. We've talked about Joel. We loved on Joel.
Andy's ending statement is his movies
are fun.
Are more than just two Batman movies.
Right. He's a man who had a great career. And I didn't know people were pointing out he was a costume designer even before he was a director. And there's a whole body of work that he had where he did great work costume designing on movies and stuff. So good for him. And he made that crazy 2004 Phantom of the Opera with Gerard Butler where he's singing. Oh, come on, man.
I talked about his last theatrical release, and it was terrible.
DJ, give me your topic.
Yeah, well, speaking of great movies, right now news, everyone is talking about Hannibal, and obviously from Silence of the Lambs, Hannibal Lecter. It's a big rave right now because a lot of people, I guess because of the pandemic, are finding it like I did on Netflix this past couple days.
It just dropped on Netflix like in the last week or two.
I'm binging it. So I figured I'd ask you guys, what's a great movie that you could also see as a good lengthy running show, 3 seasons, tight. But I mean, like, I know we want to see more Hannibal, but if you could pick a great movie and make a TV show out of it, what would you do? What would you pick? Because most people take bad movies and make a good TV show out of it. So I'll start off. Unfortunately, a lot of these picks are somewhat cop picks, unfortunately. But I mean, the one thing that people always talk about is
you're not gonna get a good budget. We gotta do fun show.
But I figure if it's futuristic, maybe, and it's not necessarily cops, but Dredd. Everyone wants to see a sequel to Dredd, but I also wouldn't mind seeing like a super hyper violent Netflix, HBO Max, long running show. You could definitely get Carl Urban to come back and do the goddamn show. I mean, he ain't doing much, but like you can do 12 episodes, either running with him chasing some type of crime syndicate or something like that within the world. I mean, yeah, everyone would like a sequel and stuff like that, a quick little sequel, but I think you could get a lot out of it for doing a futuristic type of film, Westworld style, if you had to. You know, you could even bring who directed that? I don't remember, but it doesn't really matter. Something like that. I thought another one I had was like Bad Boys, but I was like, yeah, I mean, you can get Will Smith and Martin Lawrence do it, but what do you give out, you guys? We got Yusef.
Oh, I feel unprepared. Almost like I wasn't
Hey,
given a
tighten
lot of
up, quit
time.
rambling. Just get on with it.
The
Pick
lobster.
already.
I picked the lobster.
Oh wow.
Yorgos Lanthimos created where if you're not in a part of a relationship, you have to pick an animal that you're gonna become. Because if you're not in a relationship, you should not be in the world, because they have to recreate, reproduce, and blah blah blah. When I was thinking about it, is the only reason I picked that world is because what we do in the shadows works so well.
Oh yeah.
Because it takes the concept of the world that it was created, and then they drop new characters in there, expanding on that tone of comedy and the deadpan comedy of the lobster. I really connect with it. A lot of people don't like it. It reminds me a lot of that British comedy, so I would like to explore the hotel, explore different couples. You can even have
You get to pick your animal.
Yeah.
Is there like
once you check into the hotel, you have to pick.
Well, they're making an Animorphs movie, so I don't know what you're.
That's bad.
So like I could just
I'm
go
gonna
in
turn
there.
into an armadillo,
like,
you guys.
I never saw lobster. I know.
No, the reason why it's called the lobster is because Colin Farrell, when he's checking in, they ask him what animal you want to be if you don't get a couple within the allotted time window, and he picks a lobster.
So you're telling me I could walk into this hotel?
Yep.
And if I don't get laid within a certain amount of time, I could be a great white shark?
Yeah.
Done.
Sounds like a win-win.
Done. Yeah, win-win. Are you kidding me? Do you ever see
I have to go with either grizzly bear or tiger, right? That sounds badass.
I always gravitate towards like a bald eagle or something, like so I could fly.
Very majestic.
A squirrel.
An American, because I'm an American.
Oh,
that's right.
Yeah.
I'd like to be a squirrel.
How about you, Joe? Squirrel.
So yeah, I don't know. I thought long and hard about this. I feel like it may have been a show already, but let's just roll with it. I feel like it'd be a really good series. Just kind of like you. No, just like Yusuf kind of said, of like we're just using the world of this and not so much 2001's Traffic. Like just a movie about drug running.
Is Ludacris in it?
Politics.
Ludacris is in that movie, right?
Yeah, I think he is.
Yeah. Does he return?
Yeah.
I would have preferred you pick Crash.
Maybe that's the movie he's in. I don't fucking know.
I don't know, guys. This just came to me.
Is Benicio del Toro in it?
Sure, man. Throw him in. We need one person to return from the movie.
He did the Sicario sequel, so it seems like he'll pretty much do whatever.
Yeah. No, I don't know. That's something that I feel like you get 3 solid seasons out of it. People eat that shit up. It'd be like Narcos. But more about like Washington's dealings in drugs.
It would be Narcos, but without subtitles. That's what you're basically picking.
Yeah, man. I don't know. I just like, listen, I don't know why you gotta shit on this fine film that won some Oscars.
What about
Brian? What do you pick?
Guys, what if we made a show about Boba Fett? But in all seriousness,
I hate you all.
maybe some movies that didn't shit the bed. This, I don't know if this people consider this a great movie. I actually think it's a pretty solid movie that flew under the radar. It's upper Wachowski for me. I was going with Cloud Atlas. I feel like Cloud Atlas was adapted well, actually, in the movie, but you got tons of the whole idea is interlocking stories in different time periods, so there's so much to flesh out. I mean, you could easily work 3 seasons out of that. So, but honestly, go watch Cloud Atlas. It's really good. And you get to see Tom Hanks play like a tough guy, but also a weird caveman, and like also a sleazy doctor on like a slave ship. He's all over the map in that one. Yellowface, you guys like Yellowface?
Yeah, Hugh Grant. He's an Asian man.
Don't worry, it'll pop up in 2 weeks.
What if we got Dustin Hoffman to come back from Mr. Megorium's Wonder Emporium TV show for kids? That'd be tight.
I don't know what
now we're cooking. Now we're cooking. You mean we're gonna bring back the fucking?
Actually, the same argument could be made for Valerian. The same argument for Cloud Atlas.
I was gonna say Valerian, but I realized I talk about Valerian like every other episode. I'm always
had,
like, well, that's a movie that came out 2 years ago that nobody saw, so I'll just talk about that again.
I mean, all this sounds great, but you should just watch Hannibal because that fucking TV show slaps.
Hell yeah, and everybody slept
Like-
on it, and it rules. And it doesn't take away from the other very
No,
good
that.
movies. It's its own thing. If you can enjoy it and still like them, it actually made me want to. I did watch Silence of the Lambs the other night because that's the only stuff they haven't tackled in the show, unfortunately, because of rights issues. Come on, Netflix, use your money to get the
Michael
rights to
Pitt,
Silence of the Lambs
Gary
and give me a
Oldman.
final
They,
season of Hannibal.
I'm
Bring
still
back the
watching-
cast. Give us cast the girl from Booksmart as Clarice Starling.
Yes.
That's my wife's idea, actually, and I think it's pretty
That's
good.
genius.
Do they tackle Red Dragon in the show?
They do like
Yeah.
Yeah,
parts
they
of
get
it.
into the first 2 seasons are like kind of mixed. They use some stuff from the books, but the 3rd season really kind of like leans heavily into kind of intermixing elements of Hannibal and Red Dragon. So it's
Yeah.
really good. It's good stuff. Red Dragon been now adapted 3 times, all good.
Yeah.
So go nuts. Find a
Manhunter,
type.
underrated.
Watch Manhunter. Go watch Red Dragon.
I
Red
gotta, I'm gonna
Dragon,
watch-
the rare good Brett Ratner movie. You know.
I've never seen Red Dragon, or I'm not Red Dragon.
Don't talk about Tower Heist that way, guys.
The
Joe,
Rock's
what's your fucking
Hercules.
topic?
I'm talking about the
Segment.
Rock's Hercules.
Oh, my topic. Speaking earlier about Batman and Keaton possibly or not possibly coming back. What is a character from a film that you would like to see back in a supporting role in a new movie?
Yeah.
So let's go with TJ.
Fuck. All right. This was hard. And then it just clicked in my
That's what
head,
she
and I was
said.
like, who wouldn't want to see this again? Probably a lot of people. This is just from my heart. I'm going to do the cheap route. I'm going to go superhero movie. Ugh. I'm going to go for we're doing a Black Widow 2 after that fucking makes $1 billion and kills it in the theaters. We all know it will. And I'm going to team her up with a supporting role with Ed Gale, Leah Thompson, Tim Robbins. Maybe we're bringing back Howard the Duck. We're bringing back Howard the Duck, and we're doing a PI, Black Widow team up between
Now,
Howard.
is Ed Gale just doing the voice and we're CGIing Howard the Duck like he was in Guardians of the Galaxy, or what?
No, we're doing full costume again.
Oh, okay, good.
Yeah, we're not messing around with this shit. We have enough smart people in Hollywood now that I think we can do that.
We're
Ninja
gonna
Turtles.
de-age the puppet that was
Get-
Howard the
Get
Duck.
Stan Winston, give him a whole bunch of money, and be like, dude, all we need
Stan
you to
Winston
do
is
is
dead,
do what you
but
did with
I get
Jurassic
what you're
Park,
saying.
but make him a duck. You know, we're gonna bring everyone back. We're not gonna bring back the Jeffrey, what's his face?
Yeah,
just
no
the-
sex crims.
Yeah, no
Sorry.
sex tricks. Just the 3 main guys, and we're just gonna do a really fun, kind of like a road trip type film where Black Widow and Howard the Duck take a road trip across America. We're gonna mix it. We'll call it like vacation meets.
Why are they in a fucking road trip? You said it was a PI. Are
Yeah,
they
we're
investigating
He's helping
something
him
across
private
the nation?
investigate some
Can
things.
this take place in Cleveland still?
It'll start in Cleveland, but then it'll eventually make its way to
Flavor Town?
Yeah, come on down to Flavor Town.
Oh my god!
That's the whole plot. They go from California to Flavortown. Boom. We got it. That's my movie. Who's next? Joe.
I'll take
Alright.
it.
Yeah, Yusuf, let him go.
All right, so I'm pitching Conjuring 4, The White Lady. So we all know all the Conjuring movies are based on real Ed and Lorraine Warren cases. So this case
They
took
really
place.
scam those people. That
Yeah.
part is real.
Okay, yeah, fine enough, fair enough.
They
Yeah.
really hustled the fuck out of those people.
Yeah, especially the ones in Amityville. This case took place in 1990, and it's called The White Lady, and it's like a ghost that haunts the Union Cemetery in Connecticut. So since it's in the 90s and Lorraine is like older and weaker, she needs help. She needs another psychic to help her out with her powers. So they recruit Academy
Girl
Award
Bill Murray
winning-
sexually harasses at the beginning of Ghostbusters.
Academy Award winning Odea Mae Brown, played by a DH Whoopi Goldberg from Ghost. So Lorraine recruits Odea to help her amplify her powers into the spiritual world and determine how they can destroy the white lady, because a black woman destroying a white lady is very very relevant today. And that's my pitch, man. Just bring back Whoopi.
That's much better than I thought your joke pitch was going to be, which was about a bunch of Karens who need taken down or something.
Oh,
who's called the white lady? I was like, this is going to be a Karen's joke, isn't it? I could feel it brewing.
You know what? I just want to end the topic. I mean, Yusuf, that's the best pitch.
Oh, great! So I just don't even get to go anymore.
No, Brian, you get to go. I saw you go.
Had two.
I have one question.
CJ, this is your clip for Twitter.
I gotcha. This is my question.
Not my joke. Just Joe saying I'm better than Brian. That's your clip.
Brian, what is your TJ? What's your question?
Oh, did we get de-aged and CGI'd Patrick Swayze?
Just Whoopi. We're just doing Whoopi.
She references it, right? She has a nod to the ghost.
She would say something about it,
oh, I love pottery.
Or maybe Demi Moore. Maybe Demi Moore makes a cameo.
You know what? We'll talk.
No, sorry, Brian. Who you're bringing back? Are you bringing back Sexy?
No, I mean, I had a very what I felt like was a very fan servicey answer about Sharut Imwe and his buddy Baze from Rogue One. That's Donnie Yen, and how they would we could do a movie about them defending the Jedi Temple during Order 66, and kind of have them, or maybe just have them show up an extended cut of Attack of the Clones while that's going on, even, or not Attack of the Clones. Sorry, Revenge of the Sith. Yeah. George Lucas does an extended cut of that, even though he comes back to work for Disney and does that. But I decided I don't want that. There's a character that popped up in a movie that nobody likes, in a movie series that nobody likes, but it's an actor that, despite his problematic views, I still enjoy, and I want to bring his character into a more popular franchise, and I'm talking about when Frazier showed up in Expendables 3 as some kind of mercenary, he was like the John Lovett. He's like John Lovett's character in League of Their Own. He was scouting mercenaries and helping helping Rocky put together his new team or whatever. Yeah, so I just want to take that character with his jungle jacket and his big straw hat and his Hawaiian shirts and put him in the John Wick universe. He could be a go-between in that universe. He could be a guy who knows things or can put you in contact with lower level guys who aren't on John Wick's level, but John Wick's gonna need help because if you've seen the movies, he's gonna have he's got a team up with Lawrence Fishburne now and stuff. So I'm just saying there's room for Frazier in your weird action movies.
He would definitely visit at the W.
Yeah, he'd be a fun little role that you could do it. And if you give him an action scene,
he's big enough. He's definitely big enough to do an action scene. He's burly. It's like when you put David Harbour in.
Oh yeah. He's huge. He's like 6'4".
Just make him a powerful dude. Because I mean, just think. Go back to Hannibal. That fight scene with Lawrence Fishburne. He's what? He's.
Brad, why are you spoiling? Why are you spoiling it for Joe? What the fuck, bro?
I just said he was fighting. That's all I said.
All right, guys.
Hannibal
he could be fighting with in that show.
He fight with a black guy as well.
My movie is a road trip movie. It's called Thunder Road.
Everybody's on the fucking road today.
It stars Chris Pratt, and he's on his way down into Las Vegas for the title arm wrestling.
I knew it. Fucking knew it.
And who is there as a commentator and now sponsor of the championship?
Are you about to
Lincoln Hawks? Top? Yes, I'm about to create over the top. Lincoln Hawks or Hawk, no matter whatever vernacular you want to use for it. And Stallone's just in it. We get a follow up of what happened to his son, but they're basically arm wrestling moguls now. And
you're preaching a sequel. You're not dropping him into a new movie.
No, Yusuf. My movie's called Thunder Road, and you go to the theater not knowing it's a backdoor sequel to
I kind of like
the top. So it's not like
it's kind of rad to just find out that you were watching an over the top sequel 3/4 of the way through the movie.
That's all it is. It's not. It's its own thing. It has nothing to do with
him. It's like a close up of a guy going
and who would be better but Chris Pratt and his conservative values to take the mantle of that franchise.
Yeah, we're thinking a lot of a lot of conservative. They always say like the conservatives can't get jobs in Hollywood, but hell, me and Joe both were like trying to give jobs away to like openly right wing dudes.
Listen, I tried casting this with other people, doesn't work. And I don't know. I think this time though, we include like it's a little girl that's with him, not a son.
Smart.
And a girl of color too. That way, and because his wife's black.
Going full Lost World on this one.
Yeah, and that way it's just like
his dead wife is Zoe Saldana. She's
oh my
like
god, you read my mind. It's always Zoe Saldana.
What's happening?
Anyway, I personally
did say he wanted to do something racist for this episode.
Anyways, that is.
How about I take us away from this and just sweep you up on my fucking tornado?
It's not a place you can get to by a boat or a train. It's far, far away.
So how about we talk? So I don't know. Hey, if this is your first Flyover State of film, I hope you're enjoying it. If you're not, good thing is like short-term memories usually fade away, so you'll probably forget us fairly quickly. But if you are, subscribe. But we're gonna talk about fucking Twister, because I got tired of like recommending like my shitty movies to this guy, so I just wanted to watch a fucking fun movie.
We didn't validate him properly. You go back and watch the episodes of him crying because we can't watch
Go watch Howard and Maude.
So we're gonna watch 1990. We watched 1996 Twister, starring Helen Hunt, the rest in peace Bill Paxton, rest in peace Philip Seymour Hoffman, Carrie Hughes, right?
Elwes.
Lewis Smith, Alan Rock, Sean Wallen. I mean, it's a great cast. I didn't remember how the cast was so good. And it's also directed by Jan de Bont, which is director of Speed, and I did not know that they shared a director.
Oh, wow.
He really knows how to capture a good action scene in a car. So let me just set up the movie fairly quickly. As Helen Hunt and Bill Paxton are getting divorced. They used to chase tornadoes together. He's now a weatherman. He's coming for the divorce papers, and then he gets swept into chasing a tornado because they finally developed a new technology that's going to study tornadoes from within. Also, at the same time, there's like a competing tornado chasing that sold out. It's like I didn't know there was like an indie rock band of tornado chasers and a corporate.
I was talking about this on Twitter, and I think with my wife too. It's like there was this vibe in the '90s that like the ultimate thing was artistic integrity, even to the point of like it wasn't good. Your art, even it wasn't good enough to sell your art. You had to sell your art for the right reasons. It was wild.
Yeah.
And apparently that bled into science. This is like punk rock science.
I didn't know that corporations sponsored tornado chasers.
Also, isn't that what you're supposed to do? Is get money so you can do more science?
Yes.
Like, it just seems like you're just doing. They talk about getting grants and running out of grant money. How is what Cary Elwes does any different? Like,
listen.
Well, he doesn't have instinct.
Let me finish the pitch and then we start. Cary Elwes is the rival, and they're like literally going head to head to see who's the first one to get the new technology inside of this massive tornado that sprung out of nowhere. Pretty much
5 tornadoes. 5. In one day.
And we should say that Helen Hunt has like a personal vendetta against tornadoes because her dad was killed by a tornado.
Hell yeah, she's Tornado Batman. She's fueled by vengeance.
So guys, this just like jump in.
I didn't really get it when Aaron Eckhart and Hilary Swank started drilling into the center of the earth. And they just kept going, and like Delroy had to get out of it.
I think you watched the wrong movie.
Oh shit! No, Twister is cool. The cow flies across the screen. We're all like, oh shit.
We got cows.
No, I'm just gonna
we
lead
got
off.
cow.
We got cows. I got a cow.
It's a fucking. It's a. I forgot how much of an adventure the movie is. Like how much it moves. How it's not just like storm to storm. Like there's. I had a lot of questions of like. Why were they in the two different cars? Like, why was his new wife or
So
fiance
many
in a different car, and he's with his
so-
ex-wife?
Dorothy.
I didn't get that.
Dorothy.
They bounce around a lot. I wanted to. Here's the question, and we can start with this.
Sorry,
How
I'm sorry.
long-
Someone else.
How
start.
long have Helen Hunt and Bill been split up? How long have Joe and Bill been split up?
I mean, the way that they pitched he's getting married is like it's super quick. So I'm guessing like a year, 2 years.
I was gonna say under 2 years, under a year.
Yeah, probably.
I thought a year a little bit more. Like especially they developed the new technology with Dorothy.
Okay,
Yeah,
I'll tell you, I really like that they don't go out of their way to make Jamie Gertz a bitch in this. Like,
No, she's wonderful.
really
I felt
nice.
bad.
She's not snooty to Dusty, even though he's a fucking weirdo. She's like genuinely interested and like open to it. She's career minded, but not in a way that she's like ignoring Bill or being rude to anybody. She's like doing
I
her job
disagree.
competently. You disagree? Okay,
Disagree.
all right.
There's that moment.
Oh,
the
I
moment.
thought that was Terry Hatcher.
Okay, no, I have wrote down discount Terry Hatcher, but then I take that back now because she's great in Lost Boys a Star, so I take that back and I scribbled
And
it
also, she's spare square on Seinfeld. So
I generally thought that was Terry Hatcher
That's
until you said Jamie.
No, she's wonderful. She's a very sweet person.
There's the part in. I mean, it's not even like a mean thing, but it's definitely an unnecessary call out when Helen Hunt is getting the lemon, or she's getting the lemonades, and Helen Hunt's just getting a coffee, and she's like, "You still love him, don't you? I can see it." And she just like looks at her, and she's like, "I get it."
that's fair, but like she's a psychologist too. I can see her just trying to kind of like open up the situation and kind of talk it out. I think she's actually worse when she kind of is snooty about Aunt May's food, the steak and potatoes and eggs.
Yeah.
That's fucked up because that food looks amazing.
and the great and wonderful.
I love that scene.
Is the aunt. Yeah, but I love that scene as well. Also, I always
my cows out
funny.
front. Yes.
I always have you seen my cows out front? I love that Philip Seymour Hoffman is like openly hitting on her throughout the entire movie.
Oh yeah,
like, he's on top of her from the get go. Like, is this your new fiance? I still want to fuck her.
When I started watching
the
this
extreme's
movie,
coming back, and she's gonna be free and single soon enough.
I texted you guys, and I said, "Comedic Philip Seymour Hoffman is my favorite Philip Seymour Hoffman."
Oh, he's incredible.
Like even in Along Came Polly.
Oh yeah, he's the best thing of that movie.
He's got one of the all-time great pratfalls in Along Came Polly when he slips coming into the wedding. It's so good. It's amazing.
When he shows up at the end of that movie to do the pitch,
I still yell out white light when I play basketball.
White lightning.
White lightning.
I'm actually gonna say what I was gonna say.
All right, back to twist.
Spoiler. Yeah. You know what's also great about this movie, like right off the bat, is the music that Dusty even uses, but they use as it sounds like dun, 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 on the first tornado chase and stuff like that. Like
Twister soundtrack fucking rocks.
So rocks, and then you get the different like just between each car where the guy's listening to like Mozart and he turns it up, he's like yeah, and then you get the other guy and his stuff, and then the guy with the map. First of all, you can't read a map that fast. Nobody
fucking cars though.
In a car with the wind blowing.
In 2 years, that dude got replaced by MapQuest.
I did not understand anything that Brian said.
You broke up.
Good point, Brian.
Ooh, I did it. Hey, all right.
So I actually have a couple of notes from the opening. Brian would have left that dog to die in the tornado, for sure.
Toby
is like, fuck your dog. Let him die.
The dog looks like Toto.
Van Hagar. I mean, there's a great Van Hagar song in this.
And I also wrote that if they remake this movie, Honey Boo Boo can play the mom of Helen Hunt. Oh, sure. For sure. Like
we were just talking though. That is one of the most like wholesome scenes though, where like we're not going to Auntie's, and then like they show up and she's abrasive and like they all know her and like I don't know. It's just very much like feels like you are there moment in the movie.
Yeah, it's very good. Welcome back, Brian. I missed you with all my heart.
I
So
want to talk about the very beginning though,
go ahead.
the heart of this movie and why Joe. Also, everyone in this movie has like an Amish name. You got Carrie Elways, Jonas, Joe. Like, there's some things going.
Bill is just playing a Bill, like Bill Paxton. We haven't talked.
I love when
I'll
those
tell you what this
align.
movie always makes me think about every time I watch it is why didn't Hollywood get behind Bill Paxton as a leading man? Like, he was a leading man, and they gave him a couple of tries, and he had some hits like this. Mighty Joe Young didn't do bad. They let him direct Frailty, which Frailty's fucking awesome.
Love Frailty.
Like, what was the deal? Why didn't Hollywood? Because I feel like I put in my notes originally, I was like, why didn't America get behind Bill Paxton? And then I looked, I was like, Twister's like one of the biggest summer blockbusters of all time. America loved Bill Paxton.
Yeah.
Like, we were ready to support him. What fucking happened?
I mean,
and Helen Hunt, man.
Yeah, I think you can ask the same question about Helen Hunt. She fucking disappeared after As Good as It
Got
Gets.
an Oscar. She bailed, right? Like,
yeah.
What was
and
it?
also, I wrote
Reader?
down
Was
like
that the Reader she got the Oscar for?
Didn't she do that movie? It was like Pass It Along or whatever it was.
Pay it forward.
I thought she was nominated or won for the Reader, where she had sex with that kid in like Auschwitz.
That's Kate Winslet.
Oh.
But yeah.
Thank you.
I used to get mad at this movie because this is probably one of my favorite Universal rides. I'm not sure if it's still there in Florida or not. But
COVID token.
Jaws of Revenge, where they made the shark roar. But they gave the twisters like these roars, but then you think about like the wind and like it kind of makes sense,
you
but
kind
it
of
doesn't.
get away with it. It's kind of egregious at the very end. It's a little excessive, but
it's coming out.
I mean, it's an F5, man. Obviously,
finger of God.
Oh my God! You know what I would you just want it. So you know the scene in the movie where they're showing the 5 twisters going, and I thought one shot. What if you clipped that? Maybe this is an idea to you, Jada, for this episode. You clip that and the ending of Take Shelter of him looking out at the storms, and then it's the beginning of the twister leads into the start of the ending of Take Shelter, the Michael Shannon movie.
It's pretty good. That's cool.
Just saying.
I don't even know what Take Shelter is.
I feel like all the shots. I feel like the opening shot, the one under the bridge, and the one that they they wrap themselves in the pipe. All of them hold up so fucking well. Like the sound design of the wind and the tension of are they gonna fucking fly away? Like it's very well shot.
I watched this on Blu-ray, and I would say overall the CGI holds up pretty decent.
Yeah. For sure. And I tweeted it out, but that fucking scene when they drive through a house is so good.
It's so much fun. Like, it's one of those scenes where you're kind of like, you got to just suspend your disbelief and let yourself enjoy that shit. Like,
I love when they're running from it at the end and they hit the house with all of like the butchering tools in it, and they're like, who the hell is here? But another thing about this too is I was thinking, I guess it's a spoiler, which would be funny. I was like, what if like because we talked about this, I think we were talking about it in the chat, but when a Bill, there's obviously still tension between Helen Hunt and Bill Paxton's character.
Amazing chemistry between these two, by the way. The whole movie.
Incredible fucking chemistry, and obviously Helen Hunt is a fucking dime. If
wife beater Hall of Fame.
I mean, like a lot of Final Girls rock a white tank top. She goes in top 5. She's so good.
If she ain't a Final Girl rocking the tank top, that's just what she's wearing.
I don't know. She kind of is, though. She's the final girl of the tornado is the killer.
yeah, you're actually right on that one. But I was thinking, like, what if it would be nice in this movie if when the psychiatrist and Bill break up, I don't know her fucking name in the movie, and she's so cool about it. She's very calm. She's like, I'm not even upset. It would have been nice if her and Carrie Elways, you know what I mean, linked up.
Could have been, yeah, right.
No, but then we wouldn't have that amazing death scene.
Right.
It was so egregiously, and I think it ties back to what Brian was saying, like, oh, look at the sellouts, how they died in pain. the antenna broke through their windshield.
Yeah, like it wasn't enough to just have
in the wind.
blow up or be flat, and they had to get speared. Also, I felt really bad for his little co-pilot dude, because that guy wanted so bad to be on Joe and Bill's team. He was like always admiring them and being like,
should we stop and help?
They're gonna intercept, you know? Like,
you know, You know what I really
we
like
glossed
about this?
over we glossed over Bill's powers. Oh,
Oh, I said this to my wife last night. I was talking about Bill's powers. He's the Extreme. The Extreme is his superhero name, and he has powers.
He breathes. Well, that's the whole thing. It's like all about instinct, where he says Carrie Elway's like he's got the money, but doesn't have the instinct. And it's like he looked at a cloud, and Dusty's like, "Go time, go time."
I feel like this is the best Carrie has ever sounded. Like he has a very specific voice.
Great accent.
Oh no!
Yeah, it's a very specific voice.
Yeah, he's doing Southern in this one, and it's something.
Oh, he's like, you stole my idea. Unrealized.
Unrealized.
And that's the thing. It's like you can be like, oh, he's a creep. He stole it, but like they also say they were all working together. Was it just that they were all working on a project and then they split off and they like both took cracks at the same thing?
I mean,
I don't know. I'm just saying this is a Jurassic World situation where I don't think Cary Elwes was such a bad guy that he deserved to get speared on his way into a tornado.
His sensors and his Dorothy were square. The other sensors and the other Dorothy were circles. Come on, guys.
I love the realization of like, we have to make the little fins for the fly.
That's probably one of the best montages ever of just the cans.
Also, I was pissed on this rewatch when I realized Aunt Meg has someone else welding her art. I was like, what do you just walk up and be like, oh, I want it like this and make somebody else do the welding? What the fuck is that?
Yeah, that's what Rich
Dude, she's busy cooking steaks and eggs for 100 people that show up out of nowhere.
So good.
There's something we have to talk about. Guys, we have to talk about something. There's no black people in this movie. Like none.
There's one.
Who where?
I can't remember.
That's even worse. That's even worse than what Brian said.
I started noticing it because the team, there's no diversity on the team. The like tornado tracking team.
Either.
There's one girl, and she's even kind of queer coded a little bit, but she's not fleshed out enough to know anything about her. So they're obviously not trying to make a statement. But like overall, the whole team is like white dudes of a certain age.
Not fleshed out at all.
I do like the team because they all got their little niche, and that's the thing with me. I like a team that's like the blood pack all have their own little, but like. I was looking at the team this time. I was like, "Oh goodness, couldn't even get one single black guy on here, huh?"
Okay, but question though: what states have tornadoes?
Oklahoma, Montana. Okay, you're right.
It's the whitest states in the world.
Fair, but there are still black people in those states too, and they like science. And I'm just saying, I just think we need to acknowledge the fact that this movie's not woke and it needs to be canceled.
Well, Roach. Well, the guy, one of the team was Roach and people under the stairs. That's all. That's
all right.
Yeah.
All right. There.
I mean, they named him Roach.
I don't remember if that's his name even in the movie. People under the stairs. It's like he had no tongue. He couldn't talk.
Is this the first time for anybody here, or have you guys seen this movie before?
Oh, dude, this is
like the biggest.
Who didn't grow up with Twister? I think everybody I know, like damn near everybody I know, saw Twister. Not only saw Twister, but saw it in a drive-in. Like for some reason, Twister was like a huge drive-in movie. Like,
ooh, dude, no, that scene. Yes, that scene is so well made.
The Shining,
where they're watching The Shining and it's just flying away with the tornado. It looks so fucking.
Yeah, that's a good effect too.
Yeah,
it's so good. It's so good. Yeah.
I was gonna say that scene.
Yeah, no. So, any other thoughts that you guys have on the movie, or do you guys want to wrap it up, or are we good? What's up? Miss you.
The only thing I really want to add to it is I love that like we're talking about this be like this huge blockbuster at the time. And it's just not overdone. Like it's like the perfect amount of like set pieces and like what they were able to do with them. Like I never felt like things were like
comes in under 2 hours. It's like a tight hour 40 or something like that.
Or like comparing it to other like weather disaster type movies that came a little later. Like there's just always something like where it's like, oh, actually we have to destroy the whole city. Like the tornado has to.
Yeah, I feel like it's because it takes in farmland. So it's lower scale.
I really appreciate that about it because it's not it's staying like true to what it's trying to represent and just trying to give us disaster porn.
Yeah, this was the pure disaster movie before it got to fucking ridiculous.
This one Dante's Peak
like that.
Yeah.
Oh, to show my hand, I thought about doing Dante Speaks and Volcano,
That'd be
but
fun.
it would have been like too much work.
We could do that
But
for a flyby.
Hmm?
We could do a
Yeah,
flyby.
right. All right, I'm gonna pitch you that. You and me, fly Volcano and Dante Speaks. All right, so how about we
Thanks
go
about
to
Volcano
the
again.
phase?
Ratings phase.
Yo, where do you land on this movie?
This one is forever rewatchable.
Yes.
And I land on a 7.7 Dorothy's.
Oh, wow. All right. How about you, Brian? Where are you going with Twister?
I am trying to talk myself out of giving this movie a perfect 10. Like, I'm trying to think
Yeah,
of
so-
reasons to not give this movie a perfect 10. It's fun. It's got great characters. It moves. It's like a dumb story, but that still kind of holds water enough that you don't, like, you can enjoy it without thinking about it being dumb. It's, like, I'll give it a, like, 9. Because it is just a dumb popcorn movie, and like 10 should be saved for art, and it's not art, it's pop art, and that's always going to be a little less important than pretentious art. But somehow Yusef did manage to pick the best movie. So he's back on. He's back. He's in again.
Guys,
He's
I'm
back.
sorry my rating, which I thought was high.
No. You're on record, Joe. Fuck off.
No, what did he just? He gave Detective Pikachu,
7.
fucking American Pie, and
7.
Twister all the same fucking
Fuck
rating.
you, Joe.
Oh,
His
not
last
true.
3 episodes, he gave him the same rating.
Hey man.
American Pie is a wasteland of culture. It's a fucking piece of shit, and he gave it the same rating as Twister.
So I'm gonna go next. I'm gonna leave T8 last so he can roll into his next movie. I'm gonna give it a 8.5. Exploding Carrie Elways. I agree. It's comfort food. It's so easy to hit play and just watch it.
All right, let's call it.
It's so well made. Bill Paxton and Helen Hunt are just pure chemistry. It's fire. TJ, where do you land on this movie?
I have 2 different ratings. Obviously, TJ's got 2 different rating scales when it comes to these flyovers. I got the TJ's rating scale, and then like TJ knows good movies rating scale. I gave American Pie probably like an 8.5 last episode. I'm pretty sure I gave it a high score because it was one of those high school movies for me. This movie is just an all around. Like, I'm with Brian. I'm fighting myself from giving it a perfect score. It's really tough too. So I'm just gonna go a clean 9 because again, it's the most rewatchable disaster movie you can put on at any time of the day.
Oh yeah.
Sunny summer day, stormy day. It also scares you if you live in.
I have like a list of summer movies I watch. Obviously Jaws and Great Outdoors and Summer Rental and Caddyshack, movies that feel like summer to me. And this is 100% on the list.
Yes. 8.1, guys. 8.1.
No.
You don't get to change it now.
No.
All right, and I did have one movie. I had a choice. And then I saw another movie on my shelf, and I was like, well, now I got 2. Quick little game. It's not really a game. I'm going to give you guys what these movies are about. We're going to go one by one. You just name off until one of you guys pick one of them. Remember, TJ, both of these movies have werewolves. Joe, begin.
Ginger
Both
snaps.
of these movies have werewolves?
Werewolves, correct. Joe, wrong. Brian.
Wait. I didn't hear Joe or Brian.
Joe said ginger snaps. Brian didn't go yet.
I'd say Monster Squad.
All right, guys, we are watching The Monster Squad. Next episode. Yusef, what would you have guessed?
I would have guessed Monster Squad because you've mentioned it so fucking many times.
Okay, and then the other one was Teen Wolf. So it was
Teen Wolf would have been awesome. Fuck.
Actually, Teen Wolf is not a very good movie, guys.
No, it's
I hate
not.
to break
But
it to you.
it would have been funny as fuck to make fun of.
I like when he buys the beer. His eyes go red.
Guys, where can people find you, Joe, with your shitty 7 rating scale?
Listen, you can find me
Joe,
giving movies.
Citizen Kane. What would you rate Citizen Kane? It's about a 7. What about Adventures of Pluto Nash? What about that? That's about a 7.
Listen. Twister 7.7. It's more of
Look
an
at the
8. I
fact-
gave it a higher than any of the
7.
others. You can find
back
me
down, motherfucker.
You can find me on Twitter, tweeting Trendangle1. You can revisit, along with all the Flyover episodes, my Caged In podcast episode talking Trespass, which was Joel Schumacher's last movie he ever filmed, which is just a weird coincidence.
Oh, yeah.
Bad. What? Sorry, that's not what you say. Brian, where can the people find you?
You can find me at Hercules on Twitter. Recommend me to your friends. I need more followers. My followers are dropping off because too many spicy takes, I guess. People can't hack it.
TJ.
You guys are on Flyover State of Film YouTube. Check out our most recent flyby with me and Yusef talking the Five Bloods and the Vast of Night. We also have a couple other flybys starring Yusef and Brian in Planet of the Apes. We got Brian and Yusef doing Nick Cage movies.
Joe and Yusef.
No, Yusef and Joe.
Yeah, Joe and Yusef doing the Nick Cage ones, Color Mandy and Color Space, and also check out our last 3 episodes, guys. Episode 50, 51, and this is 52. And TJ Dex on Twitter.
Also check out TJ and Joe talking about Three Ninjas.
Yes.
Yeah, whyIlovemovies.com. Bye.